Okay, pilots, I got a project going on. I had ordered an LX model F-18 Super Hornet with the folding wings, canopy opening. And the guy didn't send me that one. He sent me an FMS 70mm F-18. Okay. So, probably in fact, I got a better jet anyway. But I was just the folding wings, you know I am. So I'm gonna take this F-18. Now this is the two-seater. Just got one pilot in it, but it's a two-seater, and we know that the Blue Angels is not a two-seater; it's a single-seater. But they made one for a special occasion, and so I'm gonna go with that. And I'm gonna leave the canopy alone. I'm gonna leave it all taped, all put together and everything. I'm not even gonna get in there and paint my pilot's helmet yellow, nothing like that. But where it's gray here, and gray around the edge, yes, we're gonna do that. If I can take this off. But you see, that's a little bit of a taping on your canopy there, on your glass. You gotta get all your clear glass taped up. See? And I like doing it off the jet. I don't like painting it on, because sometimes your paint can get down in the edges here and glue your canopy to it, and you never get your canopy off. Rip your paint off, taking your canopy off. And that's pretty much the reason I like to take wings, tail fins, front nose cone, and kind of paint them separately. I've got just a little bit of tape over the servo, just a little bit of tape over the ball joint there, just to keep paint from getting in there. I try not to get paint on edges. Let's turn around this way where the sun hit it. But you know, you can put some tape on there, but I mean, I'm gonna be putting those, actually the missile comes mounted onto the rail that you slide on and off here. But if you're careful, you can cut the missile off. We'll do that when I paint the yellow, okay? But since this jet was brand new, I mean brand new right out of the box now, pilots, I didn't go through no priming, no sealing, no nothing, no fixing, nothing, because there wasn't nothing wrong with it. But if you notice, it does have a gloss finish on it. I couldn't find any satin. I was going to paint it with satin. I like painting with satin because it dries faster. I mean, let me touch this tape here. Yeah, I mean, I could probably, no. And it's been a good 2 hours. But there's the wings. Let's get these set over here. The missile's gonna be cut off the rail, and I'm gonna paint the rail yellow and the tips yellow. This is an elevator here. Painted both top and bottom surfaces of the blue. Now this color blue, prime and paint. That's my brand. I'll travel all over town looking for the color that I want, and I've had to do it with this one too. But I think that's just a basic, let's say, gloss true blue. Okay. And this right here was a satin Oxford blue. Same brand. But it was an Oxford blue, and it just seemed a little too dark for me. Just a little too dark. So I went with a true blue. I get that. I can get them at Lowe's. I can get them at Walmart. I can get them at True Value Hardware. That's where I can find that paint. I just got to go around and find the right color of what I'm looking for. There's green for camouflage, there's tan, there's different colors, but they ain't never none at the same store, all at the same store. You got to go here, there. I don't know what it is with supply these days, pilots, it's just unreal. So, I'm going to go ahead, I got two other little small things here. I got a nose comb. I take one of the long screwdrivers that Free Wing gives you, and I'll just stick it in there, pilots. Usually it's already got a hole there where they do it at the factory. I've got my drop tank here. Okay, I'll do one at a time. Let's go out here. I'm gonna see if I can point the camera here where you can see me. If it's not raining. If it's raining while I do it. Oh, behave, Zeus. Behave. Let's see. Behave, get out of the way. Move, move, I didn't feed you. Move, move. Y'all get back. Oh. And cats. Let's see, let me hold it. Somewhere. In and out. Am I in or am I out? I'm gonna be right there at that oak tree every time. Didn't sand it, didn't do nothing. Left it alone. And it's got little dibbles in it. I don't know what the heck them are. Tell you what though, I don't like them little dibbles in it. Let's smooth that up. There's all flies in. Alright, now what I'm gonna do here then, didn't see that. Okay, water or dry sandpaper. Got a piece of 800 here. You don't want much. You don't want much. But if you can see it, this thing just got little dipples all over it. I don't think the plane got that on it. See it. No, I don't feel on that. I think that's just maybe some trash or something. See on there? I don't know. It might have been rivets. Supposed to have been rivets, but my goodness, there sure is a bunch of them. So I'm gonna fold my paper over one time. Let me fold it over. I'm trying to hold it in a rounded angle here. I don't want no real hard, flat spot hitting a round spot. So you try to bow your paper up there a little bit and just barely drag it across that. In one direction. Sanding primer this way. Now you can sand that spackle, I guess, back and forth because you're going to be priming it and doing it anyway. But I like to go in one direction so that it just, you start going one way and this way, all of a sudden you've done ripped a hole in your paint. You've done ripped a hole in it. But if you go in one direction, you just kind of smoothing that up a little bit. I don't think them dipples supposed to be in. I think there was a bunch of trash or something in that paint. This is probably some reject from the company anyway that he sent me. But I hadn't seen nothing wrong with it. And I'm just kind of doing it all the way around. Oh, there's a spot right there. You can feel with your fingers. Feel with your hands. When you do paint and body work, you rely on feeling more than you are sight. Okay. Now I'm going to take a rag. Another thing you can get at Dollar General is just old cheap wash rags. Cheap wash rags. Let's get the dust off of it. Alright, now. One light coat. One light coat. Get back, get back. You've entered the twilight zone. See how far away I am? Light coats, light coats. You don't even want it to look like it's covered. Especially with this gloss paint. Gloss paint seems to eat you, foam up and paint it first. See how that smooth as that. I don't know what that was all over there. Same thing, got a long screwdriver stuck in. Now down here, usually it's a different color on fighters, but on the Blue Angels, they all the same color. Everything's the same color. It ain't yellow, it's blue. Get into them edges, little corners. Nice even fit. You saying, oh God, we're gonna sit here and wait for this paint to dry? Well, no, we ain't now. Get back, get out of there. Come on, pilots. Come on, pilots. Come get a cat, please. Come get a cat. Come get a cat. I call this one Cow. Why do you think I call him Cow for? Oh, shut up, Cow. Oh, shut up. Alright, now then. Preparing a fuselage for paint. Now, as you notice there, I did sand the comb, but I didn't do anything to the drop tank as far as sanding it. But pilots, I believe that this paint is strong enough to soften up factory paint on these planes, because if you put it on too heavy, you'll notice it's going to start wrinkling on you where it's getting that factory paint soft. And if you get it on there too heavy, it'll start melting your foam, no matter how far away or how close you are. If you get it on there heavy, it's going to do it anyway. So, let me get you down here looking at it. Little gray Scotch pad that I buy at an automotive paint and body repair store. Or you can go to Advanced Auto somewhere, maybe Advanced Auto or O'Reilly, something like that. But your gray color is your fine, and you got a red color that's kind of more harsh. I mean, you can just tear it like paper, see. But the only thing about it is on these little antennas and these little corners and groups and stuff on these planes, you just got to be careful. It'll grab right a hold of it now. Like our little latch here. So I'm just going to take that thing on a little 1 or 2 times and try to go in the same direction. Just right there. A couple times. Now, if you got primer all over it and you got paint, you know, and everything, you've done a bunch of work and everything, yeah, you're going to take some more grit, higher grit paper or coarser paper and go over that first. But when you just kind of got the factory finish parts, you just kind of roll right over it. Roll with the program. I don't want to hit my exhaust intakes back here. They stay in black. I'm going to leave them with the factory exhaust, not like my other one I done and put different tail combs on. Now you're saying, okay, we don't want to get paint into these servo and panel sockets. See? So we're going to take some tape and we're going to take care of that. And I'm just kind of showing you a few little things here. We're just kind of going over things. No decals on it. This jet comes with no decals applied. That's why every once in a while on your videos on some of your planes, maybe or jets that I've not kind of, I'll ask you if the decals come applied. Because I might be wanting to get that jet or plane and do something like this to it. See? But if it's got decals on it, there you go. you're going to have to take them decals off, pilots, if you want a perfect job. I'm telling you. Because if you paint over them decals, you'll still be able to see the edge. You won't be able to see the decal, but you'll see that edge. And it'll look like a decal's there. Now, some of them I paint over because I don't really, you know, not really that worried about it. But there's some that I do. I'll take them decals off. I go with the same name brand primer as I do the paint. I'm gonna do it that way because I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Gotta be careful here. Got these two wind speed pilot tubes here. So we just want to kind of go easy around them. But this is simply just putting a little scratch into that original paint. Now this right here, I'm telling you, it was a reject, I tell you. That right there looks bad. That right there looks bad, so I'm gonna take a piece of this 800. It's like I got two seams right there. They glued this piece in right here, and then they glue this piece here. Kind of got a little wild with that. So I'm taking that 800 and I'm just going right over that seam now. Now I could take some spackle and put in this right here and this seam right here, but no, I'm not gonna do that. This is a F-18. It's gonna be a Blue Angel. And sometimes when you paint something pilots, you can always go back and do something similar to this right here. Just taking a piece of 1200 or 2000 even. You do this right here, and as long as you don't look at the paint, see, I mean it's doing some sanding. See, as long as you don't go through your paint anywhere and see a spot anywhere where you went through, you can just take your clear coat, and you can do this right here after you get done painting it, and take that clear coat and just put just a glossy finish on it, make it look like ice. Because when you pay a lot of money to get your vehicles painted, it's usually painted 2 or 3 times, whether you know it or not. It's just they're painting it, they're color sanding it down, they're getting it ready, they painting it again. Maybe this spot right here didn't look good, we're gonna do it again right there. See? It don't always just pull right out of that blue perfect color. I'm just hitting that bad seam right there is all I'm doing. That looks good. That was the only place I seen earlier. Just kind of get a little bit of everything. When you come across them plastic parts now, hit them pretty good, because plastic is kind of tough to adhese to. So when you come across plastic parts, kind of give that a little bit extra rubbing than you do the paint. You got covers here on the landing gear. So we're just gonna kind of, that plastic won't tear and rip like paint does, so you can kind of just get into them edges and go back and forth. But I don't like to do it too much on the paint. Now we got cheaters here. We might tape them up, because what I might do is come back and paint them cheaters silver by brush. Hitting them hard plastic spots pretty good. And let's just paint it. I'm just kind of giving them same direction stroke there. Got a little indentation right here that could have been fixed, you know, could have been fixed. I'm not worried about it. Alright, we got this side. Let's flip it over here this way. But first, before I get going on this side, since I got one side done, I'm gonna put another coat of paint on. Stay there. Always give your paint a little shake there when you use these old rattle cans. Just a little second light coat. Get the fly go right in. I'll get you later, don't worry. Got her nest here. You know, that may be down into her battery strap. Come off there, please. To the last thread. This just got flaps, landing gear, the whole 9 yards. Got dual servos for the elevator, and you do have the dual rudder. Okay. They got them new alligator clipped servo leads in here, and I like them, but they're a little bit of a pain to get loose. I can tell you that. You need to take them loose, they do. They will hold. They hold pretty good. Now you can take all right, let's do that. Let me show you real quick here. They make these little, oh, I'm looking outside. I'm sorry, Paul. My bad. I'm just sanding. All right, now you know on models, you see those, it's gonna be tough to see it, but the mold markings, again, this is 800. You can use less grit if you want to, if you don't really want that much of a sand scratch in it, but 800 really don't put a lot in. I'm gonna go right up over this right here, since there's a whole bunch of them right there. I'm just nibbing them little nubbies down. One direction. I mean, you're doing some sanding, pilots. I mean, that's factory paint, but it's still doing sanding. I'm gonna do about, and then there's one right there. One right there. A piece of trash in it right there. Piece of trash in it right there. Up the edge. I mean, you can go around it all day, pilots. I mean, all day, but I'm trying to make a video here, and if I wanted it perfect, I wouldn't be making a video. I'd be taking 3 or 4 days doing this. But that's looking pretty good there. There's one right there. To get them totally disappeared, thoughts. I mean, you got to get in there and sand, prime, and all that. I'm just knocking them down a little bit. Knocking them down, knocking them down. Alright, I think that's some sanding. Cloth rag. Just picks up all the little dust particles. Everything you sanded, try to wipe off a little bit. Now, pilots, a lot of times you can touch something with your hands, and your actual oil in your skin will cause a fisheye. Now, if that happens, if you painting something and you see a bunch of little circles starts popping up, you know, in the paint, and just separating the paint, well, that's called a fisheye. We call that fisheye. That's where some kind of oil, grease, or silicone or something is on the panel. And when you see that, stop painting. If you painting along and it just goes crazy, stop painting right there and right then. Get you some alcohol and wipe and clean what you just put on there off. See? And then wipe the whole thing with no soaking wet rag. Just damp it up a little bit and wipe the whole thing off for a little bit there. See? That's all you got to do. But if you sit there and you keep putting paint on it and try to cover that hole, you're making it worse, pilots. You're making it worse and worse and worse. If that first coat goes nuts with you, wipe it off and start again. Yes, it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Anytime you have a problem, it's better to take care of it instead of try to hide it. Now, we ready to paint. Well, no, we ain't neither. I gotta tape up some things here. So we ain't ready to paint. All right, our cockpit here. That fly's gonna bug me to death. I tell you, it's gonna bug me to death. I'm not trying to put it on tape, on paint, excuse me. I'm just putting it on the raw foam right along the edge of your cockpit there. Just making a barrier there. I don't want to overlap onto the gray, but I do want enough on there that it'll stop paint from getting inside here. Kind of folding that tape around where it adheres to something. Sometimes a warning of your tape not wanting to stick is a sign of silicone or oil or something on the panel. If that tape don't want to stick to it, that paint ain't going to stick to it. Taking a little bit wider tape now. Sometimes, pilots, you can take here and turn your tape upside down and come from underneath and stick it to something if you can't get really a good edge on it, you know what I mean? So you do that, and that fills in that little hole there. Gives you the other piece of tape something to stick to. It's called back taping. We do that in door jams, trunk jams, under the hood, stuff like that. Oh, there's our cockpit now. I'm gonna put cover this cheater. Again, I don't want, this is a piece of plastic right here, but I don't want to get onto that paint. I'll mark how wide that is right there. Just give it a little cut. Let's see what we got now. Don't worry, I'm not worried about making it perfect, but I don't want it on that original gray paint. I don't want it on that. Because like I said, I might come back with a brush and kind of just dabble silver around those things. Around this right here too. Now these ain't holes here, but it's just kind of like a vents that goes through the turbine engine. We also want to cover up, I'm gonna leave them on this out. Our servo leads. He'll be back. That Quaalude, he'll love me in the morning. As I told you, land on that window again. Don't you land on that window again. My dad hated flies in the house. Good God, he'd have us chasing a fly all over the house from one end to the other. The man would have my brother over his shoulder when he was working on the car with a fly swatter, and me with a can of Raid in my hand. David was in charge of swiping them, and I was in charge of taking care of them when they hit the ground, finishing them off with the spray. Every once in a while he'd say, "David, I see a mosquito over here." Uh-oh, or David go running around on the other side of him. He didn't want me to spray him with that bug spray. He didn't like that, so yeah, I had to wait till David got him on the ground and I sprayed him. There's one right there. That's just a small opening. Let's just put one of these in there. I got to hurry up. I'm gonna lose daylight. Now I can go around there to the porch and turn the light on and paint it, because that's pretty much where I'm going to be painting it. Because I'm going to show you how I do the fuselage. Tell you one other thing I'm going to cover. Cover my spar hole. That's a spar hole. Alright, now we got landing gear. just gonna try to work that edge of that tape just as much as I can, since this ain't got gear doors on it. If it had gear doors on it, you open your doors, you tape your wheels up and stuff, you close your doors. Since this ain't got gear doors, I do recommend you tape up your landing gear, because I just sprayed my Hellcat, and you know, it's a Dynamo pilot, you gotta look at that too. But just one of my gears stopped working, so the only thing I can figure is I got some tape up, or some paint up in there, somehow, some way. I'm gonna push that corner down right there on that wheel, so I can get this one to go deep down in there. But I might have to take another piece down in there anyway. Let's see if it goes in there. Oh yeah, it's gonna go. Just kind of shove it down in there. Shove it in, shove it in. Yeah, there you go. I'll come back across this way. Pushing it in there. He's seen me coming. He took off. Let me stop right there because I want that tied around that tire. I was talking on the Fred Barron show last night, and there was fireworks going off on each side of the house all over the place over here. And Fred said, yeah, these people like to party, you know. And I said, yeah, Fred, but nowadays you got to worry about it. That might be a drive-by. Hey, Nelly. Let's get a piece on this cheater. Just right over my vents is all I'm worried about. Not too much paint get down in there. Alright. I've got some more servo leads to go here. But I also have some exhaust combs. And I don't want to pull the paint off of them. I'm getting my tape weak. There's other methods of doing this. I hear that you can put baby powders on what you want to put tape on so that the tape won't stick to it too good. Now that'll work. I haven't tried it yet, but I imagine that'll work. Flip it over here. We don't want it on the gray. Not really pressing it down hard neither. Just enough to cover it up. I might as well put a piece of tape over them brass inserts too. Come on, man. I don't really have to weaken it this time because I'm sticking it to the tape actually. We do want to make sure that that's covered up now because paint will get on anything you don't want it to. I'll tell you that much. Servo leaves. There goes my buddy again. You know, those freaking insects has got this whole world to fly around in. Now they got to hang around at your front door. And just bug the hell out of you. Why don't you go to the local dump, fly, and get a nice free meal every day? Treat your children to a nice free meal every day. Leave me the hell alone. I think that's good. Okay, folks, here we go to the front yard, front door. I'm gonna bring this out here and I'm gonna come back and get the paint, and I'm gonna put another coat, last coat on them two small pieces while we're out here. I know this is a long one, probably been an hour. Let's see if I can get here. No, okay. Got a big hook on it right here, screwed into the foam. Put the rope straight down. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit different on your third coat. Oh wait, I put the third coat on. Let's see. Third coat a little bit heavier. Just a little bit. Don't just, dump it on there, because you can look. It's got a pretty nice smooth finish to it anyway. So you're not really trying to run it off in the floor here. Spray into the wind when you're outside. Or with the wind, excuse me. Again, like I said, I'm putting a little bit more on this one now. It's been drying long enough. That paint will be good sealed now. Yeah, we gotta put this inside. I don't want to leave that wind blowing off. So now I can buy this stuff. Sometimes you can buy it and it'll say on the top there 25% more. Well, it does have 25% more paint in it, ain't no doubt. I'm about out of this paint right here. I'm fixing to start on the fuselage. So I've done the back, the front of wings, tail, rudder. And I'm gonna have the nose cone and the drop tank on one can of paint, pretty much. That's kind of giving you an idea of how much paint it's taking. Now this is a small jet. This ain't no real big jet. Nice and even. See how nice and even I'm going on across the two? That's, I have done it for years, I know what paint does, I know how it acts, but if you don't sit right here and just start running, if you take your time, you'll be alright. You can't see it without no light on it. Alright, let me put this in there. When I get down low on the can, I might go ahead and save it for touch-up. Alright. Now we're not going to sit here, and I'm not going to sit here and put 3 coats of paint on it and wait 10 minutes in between. You've seen how I've done the smaller parts. It's pretty much the same way. You don't want to start just wobbing it on there. Okay. Now with me putting 2-tone on this, I'm going to have to put the yellow on the tips of the wings and tips of the tail fins. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to paint them. I don't know if Calligraphic gives you those when you order the decal suit. You hadn't called me back. They was closed today. And he emailed me back yet. But he's going to let me know if it's even available. It wasn't even in the pictures on the F-18 scale decals. It wasn't even a Blue Angel on there. I just emailed her, says, can you get 1/10 scale Blue Angel decals for F-18? And my message back was, we're closed today. I'm sorry, we'll be open tomorrow. I'll get in contact with you tomorrow. Alright, let's see what we'll check this up pretty good. Let's get it going here. I want to get in the edges, corners, grooves. I want to do that first. Now, I don't want to get the paint on my motor here, so I'm going to try to just I don't want to blow straight down in there. So I'm just kind of easing around that. Just kind of bumping the paint, just kind of bumping that little trigger a little bit. Getting in them corners. I ain't really worried about that. I'm not really worried about getting into the gear area neither, because I'm going to take silver paint and kind of go over that. them vents. Shoot a little bit around them aerials so you can get all the way back up in there. There's another little vent right here. Just a little bit there, a little bit on this one. One way, the other way. Always look at it in different directions. Alright, I'm going to start up here at the top. Pretty much going to go with this same pattern every time. You want to try to do that. You want to stay in the same pattern every time. Got little vents there. You got to get one side, and you got to come over here and get the other side. Continue. There in between them intakes. Oh, we got our whole body here too. Remember, I got to do my canopy. Got to tape up that canopy. So I got to make sure I get enough paint here. I had a little bit left in that other can. Now it could look streaky to you. It should look streaky to you. It should look spotty to you. Because like I said, you just putting a little bit on here. You're not really dumping it on here. But you want to make sure you got everything looking the same way all over. See, I missed a little spot right there. A little place right here. The edge of my wing there. You always want to hit edges good. I mean, you got to point that thing at what you want it. Well, it's just not going to do it itself. That paint ain't going to go around corners. Alright. There's my one coat there. A bit more right there. I mean, that's the way I do it. Now, if the thing was all tore up in a crash, yeah, you're going to have primer spots. You're going to get. So my suggestion is to use something and get a uniform color. Say you're gonna paint it blue. Well, buy you some light blue, flat paint. Something you actually would want the same brand paint that you use, but you want something like if this thing wasn't all gray, I could have painted it with a light blue or maybe even a sky blue or something like that to help with the coverage, and it wouldn't take as much paint. So when you're painting something all over, you want a uniform paint surface. You want all of it to be the same color, like even taking priming it from one end to the other, letting that sit up. Don't sand it, but just paint right over it. Because paint is designed to burn into fresh paint, primer, sealer. It's not designed to burn into paint that's been on a car for 10 years. It's designed to burn paint that's been done the day before. So you really don't have to worry about sanding things as long as you're using the same brand, taking your time, don't be bunching it on there, and you'll come out with a beautiful paint job. Every once in a while, touch somewhere that you know that can't be seen, and if you feel that stuff sticking your finger, leave it alone. Time to sit down.